My name's Natalie Meadows. I'm from Whitmore Lake, Michigan, and I'm studying public health. How did Michigan become the cherry capital of the world? I just really like cherries, and I like the cherry ice cream, the cherry chocolate. I think Traverse City is a beautiful place, so I'm just very curious.
Okay, this is April Bear. I'm on site at the Ann Arbor Farmers Market, and I am looking for cherries. I'm going to a cookout today. It's 4th of July weekend, and I need some fruit. Hey guys, you got any fruit?
We have blueberries, but they're all sold out today.
Okay, thank you. Looking good. You guys got any fruit? You have any cherries?
No, we don't do fruit, unfortunately.
You seen any here?
I think the only ones I've seen were part of our fruit CSA.
Okay, we got raspberries, we got blueberries, all kinds of veggies here. Hey, you got any cherries today?
We've got a few left. Are you interested in them?
Yes, I'll clean you out, whatever you
A
got.
small box or a large box?
Maybe a large one, I think.
Let me get it for you.
Okay. Oh, look at those beauties. Robert, thank you so much.
Sure. You have a nice day.
You too. Come July, cherries are everywhere here. Sweet, sour, deep maroon, golden yellow, and even blush pink. Michigan is the second largest grower of cherries in the nation, second only to Washington State, and the largest single producer of tart cherries. And we're home to the National Cherry Festival. But why? I'm April Bear, and this is On Hand, where we answer your questions about the things that make Michigan unique. And this week, we're telling the story of our favorite little stone fruit, the cherry. How did it get here? And how did Michigan become synonymous with cherries? Our producer, Michelle Jokish-Polo, went all the way to the birthplace of the Michigan cherry to figure out how we got here. Michelle, hi.
Hi, April.
So where did you go?
I went to the place in the state where for generations you've been able to find cherry farm after cherry farm lining the road. Old Mission Peninsula in Traverse City.
I think for the last 25 minutes it's been a lot of different farms where you can see these big trees, tall trees with cherries on them. First, I don't think I've ever seen a cherry tree, so I was...
Take your next ride onto Old Mission Road.
My final destination was Reverend Peter Dougherty's house. He was a Presbyterian minister from the mid-1800s who came to live in Michigan as a missionary, and his job was to minister to and convert indigenous people in the area to Christianity. But he was a part of this local indigenous community, and local Ojibwe helped him build a cabin on what is now Old Mission Peninsula.
Oh, that part of Traverse City that separates the East and West Bays.
Yes, that's right. And it's believed that along with bringing his religion to the area, Reverend Dougherty also planted the first cherry tree in Michigan. Even the website for the National Cherry Festival in Traverse City says Peter Dougherty brought the first cherry tree here. So I had to go see it for myself.
Your destination is on the left.
Oh, there it is. Hello, are you Chris? Yes. So this is Peter's house?
Yeah, I'm Chris. This is Peter Dougherty's house. Yeah. This is the house is built in 1842, and it was built with Peter Dougherty and the local tribe's help.
This is Chris Reiser. He's president for the Peter Dougherty Society.
Wow, a whole society for just one guy?
It's really more about the house and preserving a slice of northern Michigan history for generations to come.
But Michelle, what about the man? Was Reverend Peter like Michigan's Johnny Appleseed, but for cherries?
Well, that's the question that I asked Chris directly.
You know, there's this legend that Reverend Peter Dougherty planted the first cherry tree here.
Yeah.
Is that true?
That's a good question. It certainly is an urban legend.
Wait a minute, you mean we're not even sure this is real?
Well, sit tight. There's more.
We have no written evidence that he actually planted any cherry trees. He might have. He was working on farms with the Native Americans. I'm sure they had fruit trees. The Native Americans had fruit trees before Peter Dougherty got here. The difference between the European farming and the Native American farming is that Native Americans were farming for sustainability for themselves and not commercial farming. And what we were looking for as a nation was commercial farming. So it changed the way that the Native Americans farmed.
Do we know how cherries got to Michigan? Do you think they've always been here?
The commercial cherry did not originate in the United States. It originated. I'm not really sure if it's going to be Turkey or China, but it's definitely Asia or Eastern Europe, and not here. So the cherries were imported and then grown, and they happen to grow. This is a very good climate for growing cherries. Whether Peter Dougherty did it or not is unclear. And maybe he brought a cherry pit and grew cherries. Unclear. He definitely brought other items. We think he brought chestnuts from the East Coast. There's some chestnuts that grow here that escaped the blight and are maybe 200 years old. They're enormous trees that are in the woods around us. I think the legend grew because Peter Dougherty's name here is really a special name, and people know that he had this mission and was here for approximately 10 years.
Hence, Old Mission Peninsula.
There were farmers that moved in, and so the farmers planted cherry trees, they planted apple trees, they planted other crops. The fruit crops, the stone fruit crops, were something they could export to other states.
And those farms on Old Mission Peninsula and that fruit crop, including cherries, was easily accessible for export.
Steamers would come in here to the harbor. They would fill up with fresh fruit, and those would be taken to Chicago, Detroit, Milwaukee, and other cities. And when the weather was cold, what they did after the fruit crop was done is they dried them and then packaged barrels of fruit, or they canned them.
The truth is that we don't really know who exactly brought cherries to Michigan. Because Reverend Peter Dougherty is associated with Old Mission Point in Traverse City, and Traverse City is synonymous with cherries, he's come to be the person we believe is responsible for planting the first cherry in the state. I did want to say that I found some research that showed that other missionaries moved through the area around the same time as Reverend Dougherty and documented their purchase of cherry trees. And the farmer to spread the cherry trend far and wide in the early 20th century was D.H. Day, whose name you'd know from the Sleeping Bear National Lakeshore. What's for certain is cherries became a hit among farmers in the Traverse City area in the mid-1800s. And since then, they never look back.
Okay, well, thank you for looking into the cherry tree's origins for us.
You're welcome.
The question remains, cherries did not start in Michigan. They're not native to here, but they are here now, and they've stayed here. But why?
We have what we call like sandy soils or light soils. And so cherries really don't like wet roots. Cherries don't like wet feet, is what we always say.
We're going to meet this cherry expert in just a bit. We are talking today about a fruit that has become synonymous with northern Michigan, cherries. Michigan produces more tart cherries than any other state in the country, earning it the title of Cherry Capital of the World.
On Grand Traverse Bay, an arm of Lake Michigan, lies Traverse City, the cherry capital of the world.
But how did this happen? And why here? And what is it that keeps Michigan at the center of the cherry industry? We have invited one of the rock stars of the cherry industry, if you will, to talk to us. Nikki Rothwell is 2025's Cherry Industry Person of the Year. She coordinates the Northwest Michigan Horticulture Research Center and is a Michigan State University Extension Specialist in tree fruit integrated pest management. Okay, question number 1, sour or sweet? What's your favorite?
Oh man, for sure. Sour cherries are the best. There is nothing better than tart cherries that you scoop right out of the tank. So we harvest cherries into tanks of cold water, and then they go to a cooling pad where they get flushed with cool water. And you scoop those guys, those beautiful red fruits out of that tank, and they're tart, but they're sweet, and they're just such, you feel like you have arrived.
That is what I'm talking about.
Today, this region is the proud bearer of over 1 million cherry trees, making it necessary to import thousands of laborers to harvest and process the crops.
Now, when people hear Michigan cherries, a lot of us have just kind of grown up with this understanding that we are the cherry state. But can you tell us a little bit about why cherries thrive here in the first place?
On the growing side, we have kind of the trifecta that really makes cherries grow well here. First, we have what we call like sandy soils or light soils. And so cherries really don't like wet roots. So they can be they're susceptible to phytophthora, which is a disease that really forms when you have heavier soils. So cherries don't like wet feet, is what we always say. So lighter soils is good. And then, of course, we have these beautiful rolling hills, especially in the northern part of the state. And so we always plant our orchards on the sides of those hills. So if we do have some bad luck where there's cold weather that comes in, basically that cold weather or that cold air, just like water, goes to the lowest spot in the orchard. So those rolling hills, the sandy soils, and then of course, the crowning jewel of our state, all of our lakes, but in our case, Lake Michigan plays the biggest role just because that moderates the temperature, especially in the springtime. So the lake's really cold, and when those prevailing winds come in from the west, that cold water keeps our orchards nice and tight and, dormant, and then they slowly come out of dormancy, and then hopefully we have a great crop.
Okay, so we've established that cherries are not necessarily native to Michigan, and probably started seeing crops pop up in the late 1800s. Do you know how long it took before farmers realized that cherries could be as profitable, if not more so, than some of the other regional crops like potatoes?
Well, I think that we just, we set ourselves up because of those 3 things I mentioned. Those just seemed really conducive for growing cherries. And so, when we look at other yields for, potatoes, we grow potatoes well up here, but like corn, other those kind of stock crops, those row crops, we just don't get the yields that we do, like when we have in other parts of the country. So bushels of corn are less in our sandy soils. And so I think those guys took and ran with it and capitalized on, their surroundings, and they saw that cherries did really well here.
Now we know that northern Michigan produces millions of pounds of cherries annually. Can you say more about where the Traverse City area lies in our weather pattern that makes all that possible?
So back in the day, in the 1800s, turn of the century, I feel like our weather patterns were much more consistent. And so, we'd have a crop annually every year. Today, I'm just like, we're all in the office frantically. Is the rain coming? Is it not coming? Is it coming? Is it not coming? And we're getting these periods of extended droughty conditions. And so we're seeing a lot of changes in how we use water. And in the past, we didn't have to irrigate tart cherries because we had beautiful rain patterns that the rain came when you wanted. The other thing, when the rain comes today, I feel like it doesn't come in these nice, gentle, 1-inch rains. It comes 3 inches at a time, and it comes fast. And so, the water, it just can't, our soils can't contain that. that or grab that water fast enough so we have a lot of runoff. So there's a lot of changes, I feel like, to climate that maybe when we set ourselves up to grow cherries for here for the, eternity, I think Mother Nature is kind of throwing a wrench into that. And as researchers, we're trying to help growers, adapt to those changes and take some of that risk out of growing what used to be, our stock and staple here in northern Michigan.
Nikki Rothwell of the Northwest Michigan Horticulture Research Center and also with Michigan State University's Agricultural Extension. Nikki, thank you so much for all your cherry enthusiasm and for all the knowledge that you shared with us today.
Oh, well, it was so fun to be here. I love your show, and this is a real honor for me, so thanks so much.
It starts with the soil and the lake. Together, they create the conditions that have made Michigan synonymous with cherries. More than 70% of the nation's cherry crop is grown here. But before those cherries make their way into pies and jams and grocery stores all across the country, they pass through the hands of farmers who spend their lives tending the land. The Eckerle family farms more than 400 acres across Suttons Bay and Leelanau County. Their orchards hold more than 20,000 trees, mostly cherries, but also peaches and apples. It is work that you measure in seasons and generations. Jim Eckerle is a third-generation farmer from Traverse City. Growing up, he always imagined he'd follow his father into agriculture, but dairy farming was another story.
Dad farmed and he milked cows and I hated that, so we went to cherry farming. I knew right away I was going to be a cherry farmer. When I bought the farm, they took this farm here as a neighbor. They told me that they wasn't going to help me. They didn't want me farming. And I was too stubborn.
That stubbornness has carried him through decades of change. The orchards may look the same from a distance, but the way cherries are harvested has transformed dramatically.
It used to be a shaker and a roll-out went underneath the tree and you shook cherries, rolled it up and put it into a conveyor put it into a tank. Then it went to what they call a shockwave. It's an upside down umbrella that opens up. You go up to the tree and the umbrella comes out upside down and puts the cherries and you go down the conveyor and into the tank.
Each season, the Eckerle farm harvests more than 1 million cherries. What once took long hours and multiple steps can now be done with pretty remarkable speed. The technology has changed, but that basic rhythm remains the same. Trees, fruit, harvest, repeat.
We figure we get a growing season, then we got the harvest season. And I always say when we start harvesting, I don't care anything about the crop, just as long as everybody's healthy. All the people that work for me, I hope they're still healthy when they're done.
In recent years, another change has arrived. Jim's grandson, Zach, has joined the family operation.
You gotta remember with this that you gotta plan ahead for planting and then 7-8 years before you might even shake a cherry. So an old orchard's ready to come out. You gotta kind of have a plan for the next, because if all your trees are old and then you take everything out and plant it all at once and you have nothing left, you gotta kind of every year take a little bit out, plant new.
And for both of them, farming is more than a livelihood. It's a commitment to a place and family.
I think patience is the biggest one. Especially during the harvest time, you gotta have some patience. And gotta have your head on your shoulders and be aware.
And they hope people understand that the cherries that appear on a kitchen table have traveled a long road to get there.
You see a tractor going up and down the road. Just have some patience with him because he's giving you something to eat.
Yeah.
Working for a way to give you something to eat.
Thank you to Jim, Zach, and all the cherry growers in our state that give us one of Michigan's truly delightful treats every year. They're part of the reason our state is synonymous with this small but mighty stone fruit. What's your question about Michigan? This podcast is here solely to get answers to the things you want to know about our state. Any person, place, or thing that makes us quirky and different. Send us your question, and we might just investigate it in a future episode of On Hand. You can send questions in an email or voice memo to onhand@michiganpublic.org. That's onhand@michiganpublic.org. Today's episode was produced by Michelle Jokish-Polo. Other producers are Mike Blank, Ronia Kabansug, and April Van Buren. Our senior producer is Mercedes Mejia, and our executive producer is Laura Weber-Davis. Digital services by Jody Westrick. Music for this pod came from Blue Dot Sessions and from Audio Network. Thanks for listening. Coming at you from the land of hope and dreams. I'm April Baer. Bye-bye.